All right, hello everyone. I want to do this video here on the full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo, the blood moon, which is highly significant. And I also want to get into a little bit of Mars entering Pisces over here, as it just entered today. But this is the chart for the eclipse, the full moon lunar south node blood moon eclipse at 12 degrees Virgo and the sun at 12 degrees Pisces. And eclipses are always within about 10 to maybe 15 degrees of the nodes, the sun and moon. They're always on one of the nodes or near one of the nodes. All partial and total eclipses. The last one was a partial eclipse at 29 Aquarius. So it was like, I don't know, I think it was about 10, 11 degrees away from the nodes. And this one is only about 4 degrees away. And when we get to about 5 degrees, when the nodes are within about 5 degrees of the sun and the moon, it's a total eclipse. And that's what's happening here. You can track every single eclipse, and you'll notice every single total eclipse is within about 5 degrees. The sun and moon are within about 5 degrees of each other. Because the sun and moon are intersecting, casting where their paths intersect, where they cast that shadow. And then, of course, this kind of brings up some argument over our actual cosmology. The flat Earth debate and all that. I'm not going to get into that, but it is interesting here because all nodes do line up with eclipses, the conjunction. So I do reference a lot of ancient cosmology, which is interesting, and I talk about astrotheology, but that can be for a different time. But anyway, this eclipse here is it's really, so with Virgo energy, Virgo wants to bring order. And, like I said, with this last eclipse in Aquarius, that's also marking an energy for the lunar year. It's very chaotic, Virgo does want to bring order out of chaos. And that's kind of what this eclipse is supposed to do, but it may not be the order that it may bring may not be like basically in the same way as you would expect. It's more about everything that is Virgo, like as it relates to perfectionism and maybe critiquing and trying to self-improve and this and that and blah blah. It's we're a little bit overdone here, and it's about just kind of allowing things to be the way they are without really feeling the need to fix them, and about trusting the universe. I mean, Mercury is already retrograde in Pisces, its opposite sign, and Mercury retrogrades are all about kind of just the universe wants you to kind of hold that thought and just relax and take some time to reevaluate and maybe organize some other parts of your life that you have been putting off. And that's kind of what we need to do. We need to kind of just organize our own lives and really bring better order into our life that we were having trouble keeping up with. But at the same time, also having a fine balance between self-improvement and self-sacrifice and a sense of surrender of the higher consciousness of Pisces. Because because all this Pisces energy is almost like, it's like a teeter-totter of more heavy energy weighing on the Pisces side of the axis. So it's about kind of learning to accept things as they are and the imperfections of things with this eclipse, more with compassion and forgiveness and empathy, like Pisces. But it really is a balance between self-improvement and self-sacrifice. But we're kind of emotionally dumping a lot of the Virgo worker, servant, in ancient astrology, Virgo is also kind of considered more of like the slave, because, Virgo rules servants and workers, right? And this could have something to do with the workforce. So we're so overdone and tired, sticking to our responsibilities, our daily grind and stuff like that. And we're ready for a new chapter to begin and an old one to close. And that's what eclipses bring. And this could relate even to the workforce. It also relates to our health and our diet, our routines, our self-care agendas and whatnot. This will probably be a time where health issues will either heal miraculously or they'll worsen, depending on what you do and where you are with your energy and how this, because eclipses end chapters completely and they begin new ones. So as it pertains to health issues may worsen or they may heal. Either way, something from the past, from the health, I see it kind of more as a healing, but it can, if we are not doing the right, if we didn't take care of ourselves all this time, it may be a bad time for those that are having health issues and still not learning the lesson. So this eclipse is bringing, I think, very much a order, but not in the way that we may think that we need to. Like, we're overdone trying to fix things now. We're just learning now to just accept things differently, process them much differently, with more trust in the universe, with more emotional sensitivity and depth and intuition of Pisces. And we need to trust in that. And, it's very much a... what I'm thinking too is that the first 6 signs represent spirit, and Virgo's the last of the 6. And the last 6 signs, from Libra to Pisces, represent matter, and Pisces is the last, and the last of the whole zodiac. So it's really a fine balance of spirit and matter, and the completion, the cycle of completion here. This axis is the cycle of the completion of spirit and matter. And this is what is also referred to in astrotheology with Jesus feeding 5,000 people with a loaf of bread and 2 fish, because Virgo rules the harvest and the bread, of creating the bread of life. And that, in Pisces' eyes, we know, is the 2 fish swimming in opposite directions. And it's basically saying that with a balance between our spirituality and our health, we can perform miracles. And that's what we need to kind of understand, is a balanced sense of a higher consciousness in our spirituality and a higher purpose towards our health, and balancing out improvement and sacrifice through our life properly with a trust, with, not feeling the need to regress with having to fix and control things at Virgo, but to actually expand consciousness of the North Node and the Sun towards, empathy and a higher love. Venus is still there, exalted. And it's very much that I really see it as that energy where, there can be so much happening. It's kind of dividing the chaos and the order, and where that balance lies is how it's going to create that order through chaos, because the ones that are still in chaos and refusing to, you know, find order in their chaos are going to be, you know, taken care of to a certain degree. And the ones that are, you know, doing the work and allowing the universe to clean things up while we go within and reevaluate things with the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is also the ruler of Virgo, so it's very much being disposited into this Mercury retrograde, and somewhat even actually in conjunction. It's only 8 degrees apart. But then here Mars has just entered Pisces, which is, you know, only 8 degrees away from the nodes in conjunction and opposition. And this can kind of create a little bit of a fight or flight kind of tendency with our actions, our passion, our impulses. Our impulses are going to be very much moved by emotion and sensitivity and intuition. So we may feel gut responses at a very high level with the Mars now in Pisces. And Mars will be in Pisces for about a good month and a half now. And Mars in Pisces brings a lot of behind the scenes kind of actions to the front, you know. Thing about this war in Iran, you know, there's just a lot of deception regarding war. I don't try, when Mars being the god of war in Pisces, there's just a lot of there could be just a lot of behind the scenes deception or secrets. And then, you know, Saturn and Neptune are still in conjunction, and Mars is ruled by Aries here in where Saturn and Neptune are. And Neptune kind of can create a lot of that deception around war and the reality of our war. But in time with Saturn, you know, Saturn and Neptune, when they come together, they both don't let each other get away with their shit. So Neptune can't get away with deception, and Saturn can't get away with its control of boundaries. So that's something that is definitely going on. And as it relates to war, we're definitely not being told the truth here, and that it's dispositing now into Mars and Pisces. So that could be kind of a theme for the Mars and Pisces transit as well. And I think that Mars in Pisces is going to be the last planet that the Pisces, where all the personal planets that have piled up in Pisces will, and it's the last transit of the end cycles, because Pisces rules the end cycles for the reset when it begins in Aries. So when Mars enters Aries, I think sometime in mid-April, about after that, the complete reset, the complete new beginning of all the Aries, all the heavy hitting Pisces energy that has been going on for the last 20 years, you know, going through Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, and then being installed into the personification planets of Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, you know, and then in conjunction with the North Node there, it's the final Mars will give us the final reset. So readjusting our actions to fit into the new era, the new beginning, the big reset of all the big pile up of energies in Aries in April, which is like 7 or 8 planets, which is crazy. Just a full immersed baptism in fire, which is highly just potent and interesting, which I will be talking about later as we get closer into that. But yeah, I just think that this eclipse is just, we need to kind of step back from fixing things and kind of listen to the instinct and the impulse in our body, whether it's time to fight or flight in a given situation, with the Mars and Pisces here. And, you know, just let the chaos kind of pass, you know, That's where the order, like the universe is going to clean it up. We're not meant to clean this up. We're here to dump it all, to emotionally dump that need to fix things or be right, and stuff like that. It's not about always being right. If you see somebody like trapped in underneath like some building or something like that, you're not, and they need help, you're not going to ask them like all the stuff that they did wrong that that got them under that. And even if it was their own fault because they were being stupid about something, you're going to sit there and criticize them and tell them all the reasons you're right instead of helping them get out of the building, underneath the building or whatever, or underneath the car or whatever, or if they're drowning, and they don't know how to swim, something like that. Like it's about learning that when we're right, we're not always right. That there's a higher sense of knowing what to understand here. And like I said, with this year and the partial eclipse in Aquarius that we had the last lunation, there's major progress to find in this chaos, and chaos is meant to bring about a new order. So let's organize our life around a more balanced sense of trust in the universe, and with less need to fix things other than just our own life, and create the better, bigger, bolder version of our best self as we get closer to this Aries fire baptism in April. So anyway, I guess I'll leave it there. For all of you, don't just take care, but give care too. And I will see you next time.